keep on trying. I'm about that life, never quit. I'm about that life, keep on striving. I'm about that life, keep on pressing. I'm about that life, keep on shining. I'm about that life, keep on dreaming. I'm about that life, never stop. I'm about that life. It's a dream thing, y'all.
Actress, model, performer, content creator, just a few things to describe today's guest. Today on About That Life, Nicole Brown.
Nicole! Yay! We both clapped at the same time. I'm so happy to have you on here today. I really, really am. Thank you so much for being here. I want to talk a little bit about how I know this amazing person that I call Nicole. I don't call her, well, I mean, everybody calls her Nicole. That's her name. But Nicole Brown, I met her as Nicole Pittman.
Yes. I know, I felt weird you saying that actually.
Right. I wanted to talk about our introduction to AMDA, but it actually was an audition for AMDA. Was when we officially met. We went to the same acting school in Los Angeles in 2008. I graduated in 2010. You graduated in what year?
08.
You did
graduate? Oh, you mean from AMDA?
Yeah, AMDA.
I ended up graduating in 12.
Okay.
Because I skipped a semester. Yeah.
Okay. But yes, we met. I believe it had to have been, was it late 2007 or 2008 when they had the audition? It was like in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yes. Yep. That's
Okay.
right.
Woo. Mind blown. I'm happy that I could even remember.
Yeah.
She was coming in from Indiana. That's where she's from. She's an Indiana native. But yeah, we were in Cincinnati at the same audition. Her and her mom were sitting at the same table as my mom was. And we were just, sort of just kind of prepping for the audition. And we kind of talked a little bit, gabbed up a little bit. But then I didn't expect that we were going to go to the same school, because you never know the auditions or whatever. But
yeah,
I ran into you the first night. We had some sort of meeting with some of the teachers, and I'm coming down the stairs, and I was like, wait a minute, I know you from the audition. It was, and she ended up being a roommate of mine. And I always say this to her, but I definitely want to say this for other people to hear, because like I said, I love this person dearly. I'm so grateful that God brought her into my life, because at the time, had she not been my roommate, I don't know where I would be right now. I mean, obviously I give all credit to God for who I am now. Because that's actually what we were talking about at church today. It was like, I wouldn't want anybody to know me without God, honestly. But I give credit to the fact that he placed you in my life for a reason, because when she was my roommate, she started doing Bible discussions in our room, and people from all walks of life and different faith backgrounds would come into our room and have discussions about scriptures. And that did bless me, because I didn't really have, I grew up with the foundation of church, but I didn't have a real close relationship with God prior to school, even though my grandmother gave me a Bible to take with me. And she told me distinctly, she said, find a church out there in LA. And I did not do that the first semester or two. So I was so grateful that Nicole was my roommate, because she has been a blessing since then. And she has never given up on me in my heathen self, because no, but I mean, I don't want to get all deep too early in the conversation, but I used to be a liar, and I think that's why I was so fond of acting, because I was a liar. So I'm grateful that God introduced me to Nicole.
Yeah, and just as much as you say God used me, I know God used you and everyone who came into our circle, because honestly, I just believe in community. And I just don't know how well I would have even done without a community of people who were like, we were helping each other. So I'm very thankful. And just like you, I had my ways and I've grown a lot. So we good.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And she
Yeah,
really is. What you see right here is a testament to how good God is,
yeah,
because he'll teach you how to forgive if you let him.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
something I'm even working hard on, is forgiveness, because
Mhm.
Nicole is one of the first people that I've met outside my family that have extended forgiveness to me.
Mhm.
Even when she didn't have to, nor did I deserve it. She did that. So she's a forgiving person, which is why I'm so happy that I get to introduce this person to you. Because yes, she's a talented person as far as her career and her creative side, but she's also very rooted in her faith, and she loves God. She's on fire for God, and I just love that about her. I'm gonna list some of your credits that you've done. Yes,
Okay.
she was a performer on the Disney Cruise Lines. Actually, yes, and she worked for Radio Disney, for Disney Casting. She was she still is a model and on-air talent for HSN, and she is an actor, wife, mother of 3. I say mother of 3 with a big emphasis. So I'm
Yeah.
thankful that she's here, because I know she has a lot of things she could be doing right now than talking to me. So yes.
Yes, and
Um,
I'm happy to be here. So thank you for
yeah,
having me. Yeah.
of course, girl. Yes. I first wanted to ask, what made you fall in love with acting?
I knew, I remember when I was about somewhere between 7 and 10 years old, I remember looking at the TV screen over my mom's house, my mom's friend's house. And I said, I want to do that. And it was like a bunch of commercials. And they said, oh, well, you have to be an actor to do that. And I was like, ever since that moment, I was like, okay. I have a love for the stage. I don't know what it is. It just like, I feel like there's life up on a stage. And I've noticed that it doesn't have to necessarily be a huge stage, but I just have a comfortability with being in front of people and presenting things. And I just feel like I can still be myself and do that. So, yeah.
Yes. I also love to point out that I call Nicole Rihanna sometimes. I don't know if you guys can you see the resemblance, but she always she always laughs it off. But I know she's probably a little annoyed sometimes. But I'll be in the store like, oh my God, is that Rihanna? And people will
You
actually
know, when I was teaching in LA, all the students would call me Miss Rihanna. And
uh-huh.
there's a guy at Wendy's that tells you we go there too much. He's always like, "Hey, Rihanna." I'm like, "Lord,"
No, no,
but it don't bother me.
if you were still living out here in LA, she did live out here at one point, guys. She left 2017. I was heartbroken. But
Oh,
if you were still living out here, you could definitely work for that agency where you were a sort of
I
celebrity
don't
lookalike. Yeah, I could
blame.
yeah, you make some bank playing Riri for sure. Like I said, we met at AMDA, which is the American Musical and Dramatic Academy in Los Angeles. They have a campus in New York, but we were there for, I think they only been around for 5 years at that point when we started going there.
Yeah. Wow.
Relatively new campus. I know, right? What was it like to move from Indiana to Los Angeles?
Oh my goodness. First of all, I don't know about you, but Riley just, my daughter just asked me this today. She said, "Were you sad when you left Indiana?" I said, "No." I was so excited. I
Yeah.
was excited. I felt drawn to going to LA. I don't know why. It must have obviously been God. Like, I just always had this idea that I needed to be in California. And
Mm.
when we first got there, can I be honest?
Yeah.
My first experience walking on Hollywood Boulevard, I don't even know if I ever told you this, was us walking out there first or second day, and this guy had a poodle in his hand. And he said to me, like, you all are so pretty. Do you want to make some extra money? I'm like, oh, okay. Like what? This man said we get all of our people tested and they make thousands of dollars. And a lot of college girls, they tend to come and do our performances and stuff because we test for STDs and all that. And so you could just have safe sex and do. I was like, oh my God. I was like, they're trying to get me to do porn. And so that was my first
Wow.
introduction. Yeah. So I would say we were thrown into the wolves, and it was really nice over time. I got to meet new people, different types of people, and I really felt like that helped with my growth because I maybe was a little boxed in coming from the small town I lived in, and I just got to be more open, and when I say open, just more loving and caring to different types of people that maybe I wasn't around normally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a culture shock for sure.
Yes, coming from the Midwest, small city, or
Yeah.
wherever, yeah.
And I would say a spiritual shock
Yeah.
as well.
Oh,
Like you just said,
yes.
you coming out the first, second day, you walking down the street on Hollywood Boulevard, and somebody asks you to be in the adult industry. Like, you're like,
Yes.
that's not what I came out here for. Not today, Satan. Like,
Yeah, for real. Like it came right at me. And you know what? If I had been hungry for money, I could have fell for that. And that's why I say that community that we had was such a blessing because I believe it helped all of us.
yes, truly.
Yeah.
How was your experience at AMDA? You know, did you have a favorite teacher, favorite class? I mean, how would you rate the overall experience? Because you did stay, because a lot of people, the first couple
Yeah.
of weeks were withering away.
Yeah. I really like Carly. You remember Carly,
Yes.
our improv teacher? She
Yes.
was so great. And I think what I really liked about her is she remembered me even after I graduated. And I was able to reach out to her, just saying hey sometimes or whatever. She was just a nice person. And I liked Todd. What's his last name? Todd.
Patrick,
Yes, he
the
was our
film teacher.
film. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't really get to know him so much personally, but the things he instilled in us, I remember and speak about to this day when it talks about being on set and you staying in your lane. I don't tell the director this and that. No, I'm the actor. The actor does A, B, and C. I learned a lot. My overall experience with AMDA, I say it was definitely worth it. Now we spent a lot of money going to AMDA. I know we did. But I can,
Sally Mae.
girl, but I can tell you, I took a lot of my experience from there, and not only took it to my acting experiences and modeling, but I also took it to the other jobs I did as a teacher and as a mentor.
So, would you say if you could go back to 2008, you would actually go to AMDA? You wouldn't go anywhere else, or you wouldn't just go straight to pursuing your career? Because I remember when I was leaving Ohio, a lot of people were like, "You're going to school for acting? Like, why don't you
Mhm.
just go to Hollywood and just start your career?" You would do it all over again.
I think it was definitely worth it.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if I would still do, I can't even say that. I was going to say, I don't know if I would still do the bachelor's degree, but it's because I had my bachelor's, I was able to become a teacher for the time that I wasn't able to book jobs, so it all went full circle. I learned a lot. And I mean, I regret the amount of money we spent, but I don't regret so much. But I do
Woo!
regret what I learned. I learned so much, and I booked my first job before I graduated through AMDA. So, and honestly, Tamara, look, that is why Disney
Mm,
was the talk of most of my interviews on everything else I booked
I
or
believe you.
got because they were so impressed. They didn't know what I was doing. I could have been handing out napkins, but they were just happy to see Disney. So
Yeah.
yeah, it really helped me. Yeah.
You know, I definitely would try to go back and do a bachelor's degree.
Mm.
Sure. That was something that now I think about. I was like, I kept thinking that that wasn't going to be necessary, but I believe it is. I think a bachelor's degree, especially if it's like coming from a university, it's
Mm-hmm.
always going to be helpful. I feel like if I'm happy that I got to know you, so maybe I won't say I'll change my I won't go back and change going to AMDA. But
Yeah.
I'm happy I know you, Sherelle, and a lot of people like Kevin and Chris.
Yeah.
I'm happy that and I know everything happens for a reason. But
Yes.
I think like sometimes I'm like, I wish I just went to a university like Ohio State University or something,
Yeah.
got the real campus experience and
Yeah.
for a year there because there's a lot of great programs for theater and acting that don't just exist only in acting schools.
Yeah.
What was post grad life like after AMDA?
For me, and I count it a blessing. Girl, you have no idea how much I needed to be on this interview, and we can talk about it later. But this is every time you reached out to me, I know it's been God, but we're not going to go there yet. But okay, so post grad. thank God, our last project we did, a casting director from Disney came. I believe her name was Amy, I think. And
Berkeley?
was it
Amy Berkeley? I
what?
bet you it was Amy Berkeley.
It might have
I
been. It
guarantee
was
you it
through
was.
Disney for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might have been. Well, she needed a Tiana.
Uh-huh.
Prayed. I prayed. I said, Lord, please let me book a job before I graduate, because you knew we had to decide if we were going to stay there or leave. Like, it was big decisions that needed to be made. And I didn't have an apartment off campus. So it wasn't no like I can just hang around, you know? So God opened that door. And I know he opened it because honestly, my last project, I didn't do all that great. So, so but she thought I looked like Princess Tiana. So after I booked the job, I saw that I was a really good fit for it. Just like doing a Southern accent, it just became kind of like a part of who I was in a good way. And I stayed on the Disney Cruise Line for I had I think a 8 to 9 month contract. We went to Canada for 2 months for training, which was awesome.
Mhm.
And then we came to Florida,
Mhm.
to I can't remember what city, but we came to Florida, stayed the rest of the time. And when I was here in Florida, I always said, "Man, this feels like home. Like I could live here." And look where we're at now. So it's crazy. I
Ah!
know it's so crazy.
Full
But
circle.
my experience, it was great. And I'm not gonna say there weren't hiccups with working for Disney Cruise Line, because there were.
You can
And when
name
I
some
say,
if you want. I was kidding.
and you say,
You can
it's
name them
let me
here, girl.
let me be honest. No, it just they're gonna make you work. Like, we worked Sunday to Sunday, and
Mhm.
did we ever talk about this?
No, we didn't. I'm
But
all for it
you
though.
work for
I
Disney,
know
so
I do work for Disney now, so I kind of know what you're talking about.
you okay? So yeah, we would get breaks of time, but
Mhm.
never had full days. And the only reason I got a few days off was because I had a loved one that passed away, and I had to go back home. And so they put you to work. But looking back now, despite all my complaints at the time, because I was younger, I'm thankful for that experience. So yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for watching this episode. It really means a lot. And you know what you could do to help me out even more? You can hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons down below. I even heard there's a hype button now. Now back to the episode.
That's a beautiful post grad story.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
mean, because not everybody had that situation, and
Mhm.
that's just how good God is, that you didn't have to worry about where you was gonna live afterwards. Because girl, that was my situation. I was like, do I go back home to Ohio, or do I
Mhm.
go live with my god sister in Northern California where I don't know nothing about? I was like, I don't want to go to the San Francisco area, but it worked out. And did you ever feel motherhood all halted your career pursuits?
I thought it did. So after I stopped at the good part when I was still doing Disney, and I'm not gonna say the rest is bad, but I ended up getting pregnant after I finished Disney. So the plan was to go back home, have
Mhm.
a foot surgery because my toes got ugly because I was dancing in these tight shoes, and so I was like, I'm
Mhm.
gonna get my toes cute. And so I kind of linked up with someone I had, kind of been back and forth with from school, and I got pregnant. And so I really thought everything was over. I really did. And I remember I feel like depression was trying to like take over, and like your career is over. And here's the thing, you got to watch the people who are in your ear, because even and church people are just like anybody else. So I'm not going to say it's just church people, but I had one person say to me, she said, your mother's trying to act like she's okay, but she's really hurt. She's really hurt and she's disappointed. And I was still really young. And I remember going home. What was getting emotional? I remember going home to mom, and I said to her, I said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disappoint you. And she just held me, which is not like my mom. She hugged me. And I had already finished college. I had accomplished a few things, but it was definitely something that was going to, put me on hold for a little bit. But do you know that same thing that I thought my daughter, who's now 12, who I love dearly, who I thought was going to hold things up and motherhood would change things, that's what pushed me to do more because I didn't have a choice. We moved back out to LA and I worked my butt off. I tried to figure it out and I tried to take God with me. And the show that I booked, Anna Cherie's workout, I booked the show because I was a mother. I booked, and I just thought for a long time nothing would work out. They allowed me to bring her on set along with the other moms, and they played, and we would go film. And I just was just like, God, you're so amazing. And I look back at the amount of work I booked because I was a mother. And that just goes to show you the scripture that talks about all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. It encouraged me to know, like, it doesn't have to stop. It doesn't have to stop. So that's what I thought was a halt. I have 3 children now. So when I was doing HSN, and I'll tell you about that real quick, we would have to find blocks of time for me to go model because my husband is a coach and he coaches for a team and they travel. So I had to, work around that. It's been challenging, but we do what we can. And I think that with the issues I had with postpartum, if I had been full time, it might have been too much. And I'm learning that, and you know this, when we don't understand, God still has a purpose and a reason. So I just believe that maybe what I was desiring at the time would have been way too much for me. So it's working out.
That's right. It is. I mean, and you were, because I was sad that you had to leave in 2017, but you were working so hard to juggle your dreams and the career that that you always wanted to have, and then this beautiful new dream.
Yeah.
Because I love Riley, so she to me is like a dream.
She's a sweetheart. And what Tamara is not saying is that her and her wonderful husband, me and Miss Riley hit a rough patch, and they let us move in, and because we didn't have nowhere to go in LA, and we didn't have to be homeless on the street. But I had a friend who opened their doors to me, and I will never forget you all being so kind and allowing us to stay the amount of time we did. I didn't have much to give back. But just the fact that you all gave us a room in like a shelter or something over our head during the time you were planning your wedding, like it just was a blessing. So, but y'all were hustling and I was hustling too. So
No, you guys were a blessing. Like you were the only family that we kind of had. We don't have a lot of family down here in Southern. We don't have none actually. Well,
yeah.
I'm so horrible. That's not true. We have family now, but at the time we did not because we were still getting to know our church family who are now. So I didn't want to be rude. Say I don't have any family. I have a new adopted family now for sure.
Yes.
But I love that you emphasized it did not. You thought it halted your career, but it did not. And I think that's something that we all, as mothers and even people who aspire to be parents, need to maybe hear that. I need to hear it for myself. It's just for somebody who's on the fence about having another child. It's that a lot of people are like, you can do it and you can get back to your career or even do it while, it'll be a struggle, but you can do it.
You can definitely do it. Yes. Yeah. And God will open doors. He will open doors that you couldn't even imagine. You'd be like, how did this work out? And it was in his will. Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Speaking of God, how has your faith influenced your career and life passions?
I would say, to be funny, looking back, I was a little trash before I turned my life over to God.
I wasn't ready for that. I'm not judging. It's okay. It's the truth, though. People be acting like people of the faith aren't like coming from someplace.
Yeah, it's some people who know me from only the Nicole who's been living for the Lord, and they didn't know like the 17 and prior. I made a lot of like just not great decisions, and you're still a teenager and learning. And I'm just so thankful to God that before I got to LA, God put something in me that made me just want to learn more about him. And I just know for sure, like I would have been sucked up in that lifestyle in Los Angeles if I hadn't have had God. I wanted to be famous. That was it. It wasn't no like, I want to be a good influence. And it no, I was like, I want to be on TV. I want everybody to know my name. I want to be famous. And I just look at it now like that is a ministry. When you are called to acting or anything like that, the life we live is a ministry, and we really have to be careful, the jobs we accept and what we say and what we do and all that. And I just think a lot of opportunities wouldn't have come to me if God didn't think I could handle them. Because I know it was God that kept me. Living on the ship, I don't know if you've heard, it's a different lifestyle. People, there's a lot going on the cruise lines, and I'm thankful that I didn't allow it to suck me in and revert back to old habits and things I used to do. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard some rowdy stories about the cruise life. Yes.
Right.
It's a whole nother like country
Yeah.
under the water,
Yeah. Some people just forget they're married or have boyfriends
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
girlfriends and they just live in their
Uh-huh.
lives. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know, you still got a family outside of this cruise. I need you to remember that. Yeah.
Do you feel like your faith has maybe redirected what you thought you wanted to gain in life as far as your career?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because, and I think you can relate because you were shaking your head. I wanted fame. It wasn't even about the money, which is kind of crazy. I just wanted to be famous for some odd reason. And now, can I be honest? I look at some of the celebrities that have gained a level of success, and I just wonder how they can maintain that and still be truly happy within them without God. I do believe you can have God and have a high level of success, but I just don't think a super high level of success is worth it if I can't have Christ too.
Hmm.
And me and my husband talk about it all the time. I'm like, you know what? I'd be okay with being like a C, B list actor. Like I can still have my family. I can still go to the store and nobody's gonna stop me. But I'm making enough money and I'm successful. Like I don't want the attention that I wanted before. And that may have had a lot to do with the inner stuff I hadn't dealt with yet. And since I've acknowledged and been dealing in therapy, girl, which is great, and all that stuff has helped me be more, just more level headed and just more consistent in my thought process and what I want in life.
Hmm. Can we talk a little bit about your modeling career? We've hit on that already. You talked about how you've worked with HSN. How did that start? How did you start working with them, and how did you even get started in modeling?
So modeling kind of just popped up because I was trying to act. And it just kind of goes hand in hand, I guess. I didn't know. Um, but my agency, Helen Wells in Carmel, Indiana, they would send me out for acting and modeling. And it was just so that I would book more modeling jobs than I would acting. And I think because their market was more like print work and stuff like that. So I would do some print work here and commercials. But HSN came about. And that's another God thing. It was confirmation. My mentor at the time, she was like, she's a prophet. And she said, I see the Lord opening a door for you, but it's gonna look like they don't want you at first, but it's gonna come back around. And I was thinking, like, what's she talking about? Like, what is this thing that's gonna happen? So I auditioned for HSN.
Hmm.
And something in me knew, like, I feel like I should be doing this. And they never contacted me. And I was like crushed because when you have a conviction, like this is meant for me, right? It
Hmm.
didn't happen. And so maybe a month or two later, I was talking to my sister, my blood sister, and didn't realize she used to work at HSN. And she said, oh, let me get you connected with A, B, and C. And long story short, they connected me with the right person. And the lady immediately gave me the job as a model. I was like, okay.
Yes. Come
And
on. When I moved to San Francisco area, I thought there's nothing up there for me. And all I did was work though. Once I moved up there, I worked 3 years straight doing nothing but the theater circuit.
Wow.
And helped me get introduced more into musical theater, and that love deepen that love for that. So my mind was just completely warped, because I was leaving in 2010. Back then you did kind of need to live in LA. Atlanta
Yeah.
wasn't on the level that it is now.
Yeah.
Everything's moving out of LA now as far as
Yeah.
production goes. So now it's like, okay, you can go to Texas or you can go to Vegas and still have a career in Atlanta. So, but then in 2010, when I was leaving, I was like, I'm not going to have much of success if I'm moving to San Francisco area. What's up there? I didn't really know anything about what they offer. And it's like, they have film stuff too. But I'm sure in your mind, going back to Indiana at one moment and then moving to Florida, you were like, am I going to have much of an acting career? But like, you have a modeling career.
Yeah.
Which they go 2 and 2 together.
Yes. Yeah. We were the same girl. We should have been talking to encourage each other, because
I
I
know
was
we should
definitely
have.
like, I was like, why would I move back to Indiana? They ain't got, and like the stuff we don't know about, God is like, I already know what's available. Just listen and follow my instructions.
And I want actors to hear this too, is that anyone doing creative work, that's why I love doing the show, is that we need to talk about this stuff. That's why I wanted to start talking about this, because like you just said, we should have been conversing with each other during transitions, because it's hard. And you're like, I don't get why I need to go do this and why this is happening. This is not what I set out to do. But something great comes from it. All of that fuss, something great comes from it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And looking from the outside in, I would have looked at you like, she's in the perfect spot. Like, I wouldn't even thought that about where you were,
If you were trapped forever in one of your favorite movies, which one would you like it to be?
Girl, I didn't even have to think twice. It's Hairspray.
What? Hairspray? I was not anticipating that.
One thing I do regret about AMDA, and I always thought about you and the other people who did it, I wanted to do musical theater, and I was too afraid to audition.
You can do it now, girl.
I even wanted to do, what was that group in school where everybody sung?
Show choir.
Yeah, the choir. Was it a gospel choir? Huh?
Oh, it was at AMDA. You're talking about at AMDA.
Yeah, at AMDA. It was like maybe it started after you left, but it was like a choir. And I went to the audition and I talked myself out of it. And I just wish that I had did it, because I have a love for dancing and singing. And I really feel like they could have helped me like push past those fears. And so my last semester of AMDA, I did tap, ballet, jazz, singing, choir, all of it. And I loved it. And I was good at it. So Hairspray has always been on top of my.
Now, which you talk about 2006 Hairspray, right? Because I'm like, you said musical, so
okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, with
yeah.
Queen Latifah and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've only seen that one time. I have to go back and see it, because Hairspray has been done so many times, and then I was in Hairspray. So but it's really good. I love the music. It's really good music. It's still it has time. Okay, Hairspray.
Yeah, and it was inspiring too. Yeah, go back and watch it and tell me what you think. It's I love that storyline. Yeah.
I don't know which movie I'd like to be trapped in. It's hard. I love too many movies. I you know what? When I was thinking about the question, I was like, maybe The Holiday.
Oh, is that with no, tell me who's in it. Is that
Cameron Diaz?
Wait, have I
seen it? I love that movie so much. It's so bad. I love it. It's not a bad movie. I'm saying it. I love it too much. It's like it's a problem.
You probably know like all the lines, or like
yeah. Or like any rom-com like that's Nancy Meyers, like, oh man, I love just it has to be a romantic comedy movie that I'm going to be trapped in forever. I can't just be a sad, too depressing film.
No. Okay, now I'm going to have to look it up, because I feel like I know the movie you're talking about. I'll look it up.
It's a favorite. It really is. All right. Well, Nicole, we are down to the last question.
Okay.
It's been an amazing conversation. I already said that I adore and love you, but I adore you. Okay, so Nicole Brown, do you like yourself?
I do like myself. But I feel like as a mother, because I went through so many changes, I have to often remember to be, as they say, be kind to yourself, because my body has gone through a lot of changes. So yeah, that's something I think I will keep working on. But as a person, I like who I've become since I've been getting closer to Christ. I didn't like that old Nicole. She was a mess, but I like this version of me.
Well, thank you. Thank you
Yay!
for
Thank you for having
time
me.
well spent. I love seeing you. It's been a while since I've physically seen you, but this has just been
Yes.
a blessed conversation. I'm happy that everyone got a chance to get to know Nicole a little bit more. Thank you
Yeah.
all for watching. I will see you next time on About That Life. Bye.
Yay! Bye.
Thank you for watching today's episode. I loved catching up with Nicole. And next week, we will be talking to rising star Carla Mansour. She will be talking to us about acting, being a producer, and creating her own production company. You do not want to miss this. See you next time.